Okay, hello and welcome everybody to today's wellness webinar, Wellness on the Go. My name is Anna Miller and I'm the Wellbeing Program Manager with Healthier Together. And then I also manage the on-site wellness centers that we have in the Twin Cities. And I've got Kyle here with me today, and we are going to be leading you all through some tips, tricks for wellness on the go, and then a little discussion at the end with our personal experiences on how we prioritize wellness on the go. So before we get into today's content, just a few housekeeping items. We are recording this webinar, as you may have seen, and live transcript should be enabled. So you should be able to see those captions. If you have any questions on how to hide those subtitles, feel free to shoot us a message. But for those so they can see those, the transcript. The slide deck will be shared with all attendees. I send an email within about a day or so to all attendees. And then I also upload the recording to our YouTube channel. And then I also upload it to Yammer as well. So if you ever don't see those after the webinar, please feel free to reach out and I can send those to you. If you have any questions throughout today's webinar, please use the chat feature. You can chat to everyone. You can chat privately to Kyle and I, and we will get to your question at the end or as we're going as well. If you have any questions that we can't respond to today or can't speak to, we'll definitely look that up and get back to you. Another quick reminder is Healthier Together is your one-stop shop for everything wellness. It is a free resource, a free platform to all Medtronic employees. So if you haven't done so already, I really encourage everyone to register for Healthier Together. The steps to register on the next slide here. It's super simple to do. You can sync a device, you can track your steps, you can join in challenges, and you can access a whole host of resources. And as you accumulate Healthier Together reward points, those points translate eventually into recognized points. So definitely check out what's in it for you, the reward section, and you can see how you can earn recognized points in the end for participating. So like I said, the steps to register are on this slide here, and you'll be able to access all of these links once we send out the slide deck to you. So wellness on the go. Why did we choose this topic? This was a really highly requested topic when we've done feedback in the past. So much of our lives are spent with busy schedules, with family commitments, with work trips, with vacations. We are constantly running around, constantly on the go. 89% of Americans claim they're stressed out over planning family vacations. Stress is causing 37% of travelers to cancel or delay their vacations. And as so many of you know, that it's important for your work-life balance, for your overall well-being, to have those times to disconnect, take a break, and travel, do the things that you like to do with your family, with friends, by yourself. So think back to the purpose of your trip. Why are you planning a vacation? Why are you making this schedule for your family? Why are you planning to go and travel the world, whatever you're trying to do? And what are your goals for that trip? And that can help drive your priorities. That can help you determine what the focus of your trip will be. I'd like to mention here as well that pretty much everything we're referencing can apply towards your day-to-day life, and it can apply towards if you're going on a vacation or a work trip. So even if you don't have any vacations planned or you don't like to travel, you'll be able to use some of this information in your day-to-day life, because whether you're busy or planning a trip, you're always on the go. So hopefully some of these techniques can be utilized even if you're not planning a trip, right away. So we have a poll question that I will be launching here. Just a fun way just to get you thinking a little bit about your preferred traveler style. So what type of traveler are you? Do you like to be more active? Do you like to do excursions and hikes and workout and activities? Or do you like the more relaxing trips with maybe going to a museum, going to Broadway shows, movies, downtime by the pool or the beach? Or are you a mix of the two? So take about 30 more seconds here, answer that quick poll question. Just a way to get you thinking about what your current lifestyle is. We have about 80% participated. I'll give you a few more seconds. So as you can see in front of you, a decent mix. Some people say they're only active, some people like to relax, and then about 63% of you says it's a mix of the two. And that's really important with balance overall, is having potentially a mix of the two. So we will be breaking down wellness on the go into 3 main categories, and then we'll have a discussion on how you put that into perspective, put that into practice after we give you some of that information. So we'll be talking about nutrition, exercise, and mindfulness. So I have some considerations, some things to think about when looking at nutrition on the go. So 3 things to consider when you are planning out your week, planning out a trip, whatever it may be. The first is to analyze your current eating habits. So what are you currently doing for your diet? Maybe you're working through a program, or like the Wonder program, or maybe you're doing Noom, some sort of Weight Watchers, anything like that. Or maybe you're just tracking your calories. Maybe you're looking at macros. There's so many different ways that people go about their nutrition. So think about what you're doing right now. And the first step is to think about, is that diet sustainable? Whether it's at home, whether it's on the go, whether you're traveling, whether you're just busy, think about, is that sustainable? Are you meal prepping? Do you have a meal schedule that your family follows? Do you have a schedule of when you go grocery shopping, those sorts of things? Your current dietary pattern should be sustainable, and it should be something that you could do for the rest of your life. So do you have those techniques in place to help you get through that, translate from busy weeks and trips back to your daily life and vice versa? So think about what your current health, fitness, nutrition goals are. Are you maybe working to stay at a specific caloric intake each day? Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to gain weight? Are you working to cut out added sugars, or maybe limiting excess saturated fat? There's so many things you could be thinking about. But when you're planning a trip, planning a vacation, planning for a stressful week ahead, it's important to look at what your current habits are, if you want to continue those on, or if you maybe want to adjust as you move through the week. Especially if you are eating a specific diet or a particular way, you know how your body reacts to those foods. I know for me, I'm lactose intolerant. So typically when I like to go on a vacation, I'm like, oh, let's get ice cream, let's eat pizza. And I know that doesn't sit well with me. And then yet I am still doing that, feeling bloated and terrible and sick because of it. And so think about how you want to feel at the end of your week, at the end of your trip. How do you want to feel emotionally, mentally, physically, and financially? All of those aspects go into your overall wellness. Look at your routine and the possibilities. So what routine do you have in place? Like I mentioned before, your meal schedule. When do you eat meals during the day? Do you wake up at 6, have breakfast right away, lunch at noon, and dinner at 5, whatever it may be? It's important, and Kyle goes into this later on with exercise. It's important to look at your routine and stick to that routine. Do you only eat when you're hungry, or do you eat at specific times because that's how it works with your schedule? So looking at the routine, trying to stick with that routine even as you're on the go. This is also a great opportunity to try new cuisines, new foods, or maybe even different preparation techniques if you're in a different area, or if you have different tools and different cooking utensils wherever you end up going. Try something new that could potentially expand your palate, and you'll never know what kind of foods you might enjoy if you don't try. And lastly, think about social influence. Colleagues, friends, families, they all have a large influence on the types of restaurants you'll go to, the beverages that will be consumed, and so many other factors. I even think about today, there's a summer celebration at the Mounds View office. So there's food trucks on site. That if you want to go out with your colleagues out there, that influences the types of foods that are offered, and maybe those do or don't align with your current health and fitness goals. So that's just a small example. When you're going on a big trip, if there's like a hotel bar, maybe that could go against what you're trying to work towards. So try your best to prepare for those barriers in advance. Imagine what any possible barrier that could get in between you and your goal, and see if there's ways to kind of get around that. So can you look at menus in advance to plan out what foods fit within your goals? Maybe you need to look to see if at your hotel or if you're camping, maybe there's nowhere to store leftovers. If you typically, right when you get your food at a restaurant, if you cut it in half and save the rest for leftovers, maybe you can't do that because there's nowhere to keep leftovers. Or maybe do you want to share an entree with your significant other or with a colleague or a friend? It's the perfect time to re-examine your priorities and make sure that your choices align with those priorities. With all of this being said, that doesn't mean you can't splurge, treat yourself, eat the dessert, have the drink at the bar, but continue your normal eating habits and techniques. Find a balance within your trip so that you can feel great in all aspects of your wellness. One meal, one snack, one treat isn't going to make or break your progress towards whatever you're working towards, but you want to feel the best you can after those scenarios. So trying to set yourself up for success. So I have a few meal tips for traveling, and we'll go into more depth as we get through the rest of this content today. But see if you can pack foods for road trips or for airports. I know airport food can get pretty expensive. So can you have granola bars with you, or trail mix, something that you like, and then you can possibly save a little money too. And then that you have that there. If your flight gets delayed and there's no restaurant open and you're forced to go to the newsstands that have, the $10 trail mix bag, maybe it's not going to be something you even like. So knowing that you have snacks that you like, that will keep you full. Like I mentioned before, look at menus in advance. If you have a food tour planned, or if you have a recommendation for a restaurant that you really want to check out, look at the menu and see what you might like. And I think most importantly, people forget when they're on trips or when they get busy to stay hydrated. And we forget how much hydration impacts our overall health and wellness. Hydration and being hydrated enough is so critical in making sure your body works efficiently and effectively. So can you bring, a reusable water bottle with you? Can you, if you're going camping, maybe making sure you have one of those water filters. So setting yourself up for success. So I have a few specific tips when it comes to maybe packing or snacking. So what to pack and what to snack. I love that phrase. So think about the snacks that you eat right now. This is just a quick tips for on-the-go snacks. So things that you maybe can throw in a bag, keep in your car, things that would be filling. So filling is different for everybody, but typically foods that are high in fiber and low in saturated fat and trans fats, and also high in protein, helps you feel fuller longer. Ideally, you want snacks that are not messy. So I have those Go-Go Squeeze applesauce pouches. I love applesauce, but it's not realistic to bring a whole container of applesauce, a bowl, a spoon, with me on the go. So those Go-Go Squeezes work really well. You don't want a giant, huge bag of popcorn that you're just going to lug around. So can you pre-portion those snacks so they're in smaller servings so you can just quick grab them and go? Typically, things that don't have to be refrigerated last the longest as snacks. Maybe you don't eat it today, but maybe you want to be able to eat it tomorrow. If you're stuck with the refrigeration component, that it could be a hindrance to your snack maybe going to waste. When at all possible, try to have 2 food groups with each of your snacks. That's going to help you feel fuller longer. So some examples of this would be maybe a bagel and cream cheese, those peanut butter crackers, a banana and some sort of nut butter, trail mix with nuts or dried fruits, maybe yogurt and granola, those hummus and veggies. Those are a few ideas that I have just off the top of my head for some snacks that are two food groups together. And I see some questions coming in, and I've got 2 more slides and then I'll get to those questions. I put out some specific snack ideas that I recommend, and I have a few dietitian friends who sent me some of their recommendations as well. So those instant oatmeal packs work great as snacks or even quick meals if you're not super hungry during the day. Some yogurt and granola, like I mentioned, those 2 food groups. If I struggle with, because I'm lactose intolerant, so I love yogurt, but it does not make me feel good at all. So I have found Chobani Complete. There's no added sugars in almost every flavor of Chobani Complete, and it's high in protein, and I don't understand the process. It's extra filtered, so there's no lactose in the yogurt, and those are awesome and they taste good too. And I've pretty much been able to find them at every store that I've been to in the US at least. I can't necessarily speak to the global population. And then some fat-free or low-fat cottage cheese, mixing that in with fruits, trail mix, popcorn, canned veggies. These are all great options for snacks or quick meals. Some other ideas, and I put some more screenshots of what they look like so you know what to look like at the store. Some cut up fresh veggies and hummus. I hear from so many people that I talk to that they buy a ton of vegetables or they pick them from their garden and they go to waste. The best way to make sure you utilize all of your fresh fruits and veggies is to pre-portion them out. Maybe you have your own reusable Ziploc bags, maybe you have little containers, pre-portion those out. So then when you're ready for carrots, you don't have to wash your entire carrot, cut it up, and then eat it. You can just grab your little snack pack and get on your way. Crackers are a great option. Ones with whole grains, multigrains, low sodium, low added sugars. Those are some things to think about. And something I've been obsessed with lately that I love, there's Bada Bean, Bada Boom, and then Vienna chickpea snacks. These are so tasty, and I am a huge chip person. I could eat Lay's potato chips all day. So this kind of satisfies that chewing and the saltiness that I'm craving. And there's chickpea snacks and these broad beans, and they're so tasty. And they've got a ton of different flavors too. And they're higher in protein and less processed than typical potato chips. And if you're looking for quick meals, if you're at a gas station or if you're at the cafeteria at work, those to-go wraps, salads, grain bowls, those are more great options for quick snacks that typically are the healthier options. So we got a few comments here about those electrolyte packets. That's perfect, a great way to stay hydrated. Somebody says, doesn't fat help you feel satiated? So unsaturated fats and those healthy fats like omega-3 fatty acids that you find in like salmon or fatty fish, or omega-3 or omega-6s that you find in avocados, those sorts of fats, the healthy fats help you feel fuller longer. But saturated fat and trans fat, those are the more processed fats, and those don't help you feel fuller longer because they're more processed. So hopefully that answers your question. So we'll pass it over to Kyle.
Yeah, like I said, I made that little comment. I use those occasionally, those hydration packets, and for like hiking, especially in hot temperatures, those really do help. Just add those added electrolytes and some of those other nutrients that you just can't get from straight up water. So, but as I talk about hiking or backpacking, I get to talk a little bit more on the exercise piece. So just because you are traveling or on vacation doesn't mean you should pause your exercise routine or not incorporate some sort of physical activity. Maintain your daily routine with modifications or alternatives to your exercise regimen. For those that highly value their workouts they do on a regular basis, there are alternatives to allow yourself that continuation while on vacation or while traveling. Knowing the resources available to you can help you stay the course of your fitness routine. So as I've listed here, some considerations or maybe things that you haven't thought of before that you might look to in future planning, travel plans, etc. But hotels, even cruises sometimes have gym amenities. So you might have to call or reach out to your destination and find out what they have available and what those specifics might be. So that way you have that mindset and that knowledge of what's available to you. If you are maybe part of, let's say, a Lifetime Fitness, a big box fitness facility that has multiple locations throughout your state or country or whatnot, see if you can go to a new location and continue your workouts there. Guest passes are always good. Some gyms offer that ability. Even if you are working with a personal trainer or a fitness professional, even if you want to reach out to us, myself, Anna, or Isaac, we can set you up with some sort of vacation or travel workout that you can take with you and continue what you're doing. For those that are more into, let's say, fitness classes, group exercise, that kind of thing, see if maybe if you're at a resort, see if they offer some fitness classes. But there's always things like YouTube or some sort of virtual component, especially nowadays, that you can have with you and do in your hotel room or do, wherever you're at, even if it's for, 15 minutes. But definitely making sure that you pack the necessary means to do your workouts while you're on the go. So like I said in that last one on the slide here, if making sure that you bring your laptop or tablet, smartphone, your headphones, whatever it might be, to help facilitate you doing your workouts and continuing that routine while you are traveling or on vacation. And then your physical activity can come in many different forms, not just specifically through dedicated exercise or workouts. Take some time when planning your travel or once you get settled in at your destination to plan your activity during your stay. There are plenty of bloggers or articles on the internet sharing ideas of popular activities to do at your destination. Find and schedule those activities that interest you. You can really get the best of both worlds, experiencing a new destination or new activity, and still maintaining your physical activity routine. The American Heart Association recommends adults to get 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise each week. But for the sake of speaking about travel, wellness on the go, vacations, and really just what we might assume for holidays and vacations as enjoying your time off, let's break it down into more of a smaller quantity, something a little more tangible. 21 minutes. 21 minutes a day of even just a brisk walk can help provide you with better sleep, can help even offset if you think about what you might eat when you're on vacation or how much you might eat. Even that little bit of that 21 minutes can help offset your vacation eating, meaning, like I said, overeating or even the non-healthy options. That physical activity can also improve your mood and maybe decrease stress, maybe some anxiety that might occur while you're even traveling. Sometimes things don't go perfectly with certain things on the itinerary. So being in control and providing that physical activity can help keep you in a positive mood, help decrease that stress. But most of all, as we kind of know, or at least we as the well-being specialists, we try to emphasize just that quality of life increases and that overall sense of well-being increases as well. So whether you are traveling for work or traveling for pleasure, your routine shouldn't drastically change. Too many people fall out of their good habits when they go on vacation. And when they come back and try to get back into it, it's too challenging or they get discouraged. If you can take a 15-minute break out of your workday to stretch, or I'm sorry, if you, let's say, take a 15-minute break during your workday to like stretch, incorporate the same flex break into your travel itinerary. If every Tuesday you participate in a group exercise class like yoga, find and plan a yoga alternative while on vacation. Might be virtual option, or maybe at a new local location where you are traveling to. I understand that everyone might not be able to recreate the exact routine, and it is vacation. Like I said, I understand it's a time to relax, a time to unwind the mind, and experience new things, a new destination. But like I mentioned from before, 21 minutes a day of even just walking can help you maintain your daily routine, accountable towards your goals, and overall better well-being.
So I will briefly touch on a few tips for keeping mindfulness on the go. Mental and emotional well-being is such a large part of your overall health and wellness. So as Kai was mentioning, using whatever routine you currently have established and continuing that on. So maybe you join our Tuesday, Thursday guided meditations. If you want to continue those on, you can do a few things. You can watch our library of recordings, or you could even forward the invite to yourself and join in wherever you are. A lot of our virtual offerings, you don't have to be logged into your Medtronic credentials to be able to access the Zoom meetings, to be able to access the YouTube channel. So you can do those whenever and wherever. Rethink Care, formerly, of course, I have the typo here, formerly known as Will. So they've rebranded. So this is those 1-minute digital coaching, online sessions. There's so many sessions ranging from mental well-being, sleep, resiliency. There's a ton of different topics. So that is another resource that you can download the app to your phone, Rethink Care, download that app. And if you need help getting that downloaded, you can just click that learn more. And that is a great way to continue wellness, continue mindfulness. Same with Journeys. It's another digital coaching tool offered through Healthier Together that you can continue those journeys, continue tracking and being mindful each day, going through those topics that you're learning about and continue that on. And you can continue those relaxation techniques. I know for me, when we go on trips or if I have a busy week, the first thing to go is typically those breathing techniques, gratitude. I don't think about mindfulness walks, but that's what is going to keep you grounded. That's what's going to bring you back. And so thinking about what you currently do for your mind, for your emotional well-being, and continuing that through, because that's what's going to keep you grounded as flights get delayed or as so many other things can potentially happen on a road trip. So thinking about what's going to keep you grounded. So putting things into perspective. So we did a poll at the beginning talking about what kind of traveler are you? So are you an active traveler? Are you a relaxing traveler? Or are you a mix of the two? So Kyle, got a question for you here. What kind of traveler are you, and maybe where have you traveled to?
Yeah, sure. So I would consider myself, if I were doing that poll, I would have clicked active traveler for sure. I am not one, even my wife as well. We are travel buddies. We like to do things, constantly be engaged and experience the places that we go. So for us, traveling kind of usually ends up being maybe weekend camping trips. So call it like a road trip almost. Here in Minnesota to like our local state parks, and just a weekend type thing where we are hiking or fishing, things like that. Never really sitting down next to the campfire. When I visit family in Colorado or like my sister in Boston, it's planned activities like going to museums or going fishing, things like that. But then, it expands into, again, more camping is kind of, our thing, the outdoors. So national parks, hikes and backpacking and, even little educational pieces that might be provided by the park rangers and such. And then we always like to take maybe 10 to 14 days and travel internationally. My wife being more so the international traveler, but she's she's kind of helped me get to Hong Kong and Belize.
Wow, those sound like so much fun. So how does your traveler style compare to your day-to-day lifestyle? Do you have a similar approach when you go on your vacations to then what you do in your day-to-day life?
Yeah, so I try to incorporate activity every day. It might not be, like a workout that we teach. So we teach usually, about three to four group fitness classes a day. Or it's not a day, but a week. Yes, let me be clear. But I also lead the flex breaks, as many of you have participated in for 15 minutes. But when it comes to like at home, the at home activities is gardening, taking walks with my wife. We try to do that like at least once a week. But do it yourself projects, woodworking. I try to keep myself busy, active on a regular basis. Like I said before, for vacations, we try to go 10 to 14 days for those bigger vacations and really experience anything and everything that we can at that location or that destination. So yeah, I really like to be active. It's not really my style. Nothing wrong with it. I know my sister really likes to be more of like, she likes to sit on the beach, tan, read, etc. But it's not my style, just sitting still. I'd rather be like, at the beach, in the water, snorkeling, viewing the coral and the other aquatic life. Like I just remember my Hawaii trip just back in May. If I were sitting on the beach, I probably wouldn't have swam with 8 sea turtles and found an eel hidden in some of the coral. But then just kind of thinking of the nutrition piece as well. I actually think I eat better. I eat healthier while I'm on vacation, and it might be surprising if for some of you, but for me, it ends up being less snacking when I'm on vacation, more water, more hydration, and then even smaller portions. I'm really mindful when it comes to eating while traveling, being mindful of how food tastes, how, and slowing things down and enjoying my food, which allows me to then, kind of figure out that, oh, I'm comfortably full. Like I don't need to eat anymore. So yeah, that intention or that mindset for me is to try new things, not order things that I usually, eat. So like coastal destinations, I'm looking to have some sort of fish or seafood every day. But I could talk probably for an hour just on food and just kind of myself and my wife being, somewhat foodies, but your turn. What about you? What type of traveler are you?
I would say that I'm definitely an active traveler as well, but I think I'm more like the 60% of everyone here that says I'm a good mix of the two. So my husband and I, we typically do a lot of road trips, camping, hiking, especially the past 2 to 3 years. Our trips have been almost exclusively camping just with the pandemic. So that's been great to get away from the city and to see the stars and do all sorts of active things when we go camping. I have a hard time. I like to hang up a hammock and then hang out in the trees, but I can stay there for maybe 20, 30 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm going to move and go and watch Keegan fish, or I'll take out the kayak. So we do a lot of those type of trips. A big change that with our kind of traveling style that we had recently, we just went on our honeymoon back in April or so, and we went to San Diego, and it was great to have that good mix of going to some new restaurants, but we also hiked at Torrey Pines, and we also sat on the beach and relaxed for a little bit. So those were great, not only for my physical wellness. I eat the same if I'm on vacation or if I'm at home, but with camping comes those struggles of I'm eating 6 hot dogs by the fire and 10 s'mores, whatever it may be. So it definitely takes a little more planning, but my favorite thing is about camping is probably disconnecting from everything. Typically we typically go to the Boundary Waters in northern Minnesota, and there's no cell service out there. I tell my parents, I'm going to be gone for this many days. I'll let you know when I get back to service. And I delete all social media from my phone. I put my notifications on do not disturb. I let my important people know that I'll be gone, obviously, but it's a great time to disconnect and get away from everything and truly, relax. And that is my form of relaxation, is not as much exposure to screen time.
Sure. Yeah. So with you mentioning, and kind of similar to, both myself and you, and I think this might kind of feed other people's like maybe questions when it comes to like road trips, whether it's for work or travel. But how do you manage your nutrition, during those road trips? Like for me, it always seems that they're at like gas stations or those like little convenience stores that you might stop at, on your way, don't always have the healthiest options or, for meals or snacks. So what do you do? What do you look for?
Yeah, that's a big barrier that a lot of people experience, is they don't know what to eat when they go on road trips or you stop at a gas station, and there's a lot of chips and candies and ice cream, all of that sort of thing. So I think, as I mentioned before, we try to continue what we're doing in our day-to-day life when we go on vacations, with the exception of sometimes I gotta have that extra s'more, the campfire. But when we go to gas stations, it's looking for things that are low in saturated fat and low in added sugars, typically what I look for. I know those of you from the Midwest, there's a gas station called Quick Trip, and that's where we typically end up stopping. And my husband's going for the hot and ready hot dogs and burgers and those sorts of things. And I know those just don't sit well with me. So I've been going for a lot of the beef jerky lately. I think I saw someone mention they like some sort of beef jerky. I can't remember exactly, but little beef jerky action, or a lot of gas stations or even convenience stores are starting to have healthier options. Yeah, Chomp's beef sticks. Yeah. Those are great options. And gas stations, convenience stores are starting to have more fresh bakery items on site, or fruit cups, yogurt, that sort of thing. And it's sometimes not as appealing to go towards those, but if that fits with your current goals, and like I love fruit and that satisfies my sweet tooth, so I normally grab one of those fruit cups when we go on those trips. Or if you want your candy and your sweet treats, mixing the M&Ms into the trail mix. Yeah, peanuts and dark chocolate chips mixed in small Ziploc bags for sure. Those are great options for packing, and I use all those snack options I talked about before. Do you have the same experience, Kyle? Do you have those same barriers sometimes?
Yeah. So yeah, like the road trips for us when we're, doing our camping trips or like national park type, road trips, I'm going to be honest. Stopping at gas stations, it literally is just candy, chips. I love those Dots pretzels, the Dots brands pretzels. And then even just for like the caffeine boost, diet or no sugar pop soda. So yeah, the snack type food always seems to just trigger that, like, I just want to eat everything response. But the big thing though, for me, and I think it comes just with being in the profession that we are in, and I hope others can maybe get to this point as well, is being aware of how many calories that I am consuming with those snacks, to then balance it with what I cook. Let's say if it's a camping weekend, I'm balancing those calories with then what I am planning on eating for that that meal at dinner or breakfast or whatnot. So my calorie consumption awareness is not only just for like that day, but it's also what I might eat throughout the week as well. So I'm always considering what's happening for me kind of in that moment, within 24 hours, but also how it, will pan out for me throughout that week. I do agree with that recent, one of the recent chat messages about, might be worthwhile, taking that extra little bit of time to find a better restaurant. And I absolutely agree. Like I said, I'm kind of a foodie, my wife and I, and we really like going to non-chain oriented restaurants to try new foods. Might be, as I always say, it's something that I can't make at home is what I'm looking for, or something that is like special for that restaurant. So yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, if you can, if your travel route allows for it, definitely, looking for and researching some of those healthier stops along the way. But again, when I'm traveling, vacation, it's that mindset intention to slow down, enjoy the food because I'm choosing to eat and search out for this restaurant. And then that way it just has that stomach and brain connection to, communicate and tell me, hey, I'm full. I don't need any more food.
Yeah, those are all great suggestions. And I love everyone sharing their ideas in the chat too. So thank you for sharing. Feel free to add in any more that you have. So starting to wrap things up, Kyle, do you have one piece of advice that you would want to share? What's the one take home you want to share with everyone listening?
Yeah. As I mentioned in my earlier portion, the exercise on the go section that I was speaking to, I really believe it's maintaining routine, and also setting intentions for vacation or travel, whatever it might be. When I travel, I intend to actively experience new things. So walk around a small town, maybe a 4-mile hike to a 300-foot waterfall, fly fishing the trout streams in southeastern Minnesota. But the intention to stay moving and stay active. Since I lead flex breaks Monday through Thursday, I try to incorporate some sort of stretching on my trip as well, even if it's just 2 minutes, just to like do a side bend stretch and really, stretch out those muscles on the side of my torso. Just helps me stay loose and limber. But for me, the stretching is also mindfulness as well. I can kind of take a moment to breathe and create that, that good oxygen exchange through the muscles, during those stretches, which again, calms the mind. And again, that relaxation technique.
Yeah.
I know that there are like relaxing travelers, but from my experiences and my approach on travel, I would advise others to set intentions for their travel regarding some sort of physical activity and the food and liquid consumption, and then maintain the day-to-day routine with modifications and alternatives that parallel with your vacation or your travel experience.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Kyle. I think that is a great tip and a good piece of advice for everyone here. And I would also add to what I mentioned at the very beginning is to analyze what your priorities are for your trip. If you want it to be a relaxing trip, go for that and stick to that. And that will help you feel better in the end. And only you know what your body needs physically and mentally and emotionally, whether it's taking a break from work, whether it's going on those hikes. And so it's important that you stick with that, create those boundaries as you move forward. And that can hopefully help you feel better overall with your health and wellness when you come back to, normal life. So as we wrap up here, we just wanted to share a few upcoming events that we have that you can engage with Healthier Together. So we always have a monthly healthy habit challenge. So this coming month is Common Ground. So finding common ground to connect with others helps you focus on shared goals. So you can add and track that habit on Healthier Together. And then our monthly fitness challenge starts August 1st. It's a 31-day squat challenge. So there's a set amount of reps each day where you do a squat and do as many squats, and then you track that habit each day to earn Healthier Together points. I'll be posting that as an announcement to Yammer on Monday, so you'll see the PDF, or you can also download it here as well. And we also have a tip video that shows you how to do any variations of squats modifications. And be sure to join us for our next webinar, August 23rd, where we'll be talking about let's get more physical. So going beyond the exercise basics. This is the recommendations and going deeper dive into physical activity. And save the date for our Global Medtronic Move Together 5K. So participate in person. I know in the Twin Cities, we're hosting the 5K on September 21st at Mountains View. More information to come on that. But there are local wellness champions across the globe that are hosting on-site 5Ks sometime around this September 21st through the 22nd. So check in with your local champions. And additionally, we always like to share our weekly live offerings. These are great opportunities to engage virtually, to meditate, stretch, maybe get a little workout in, and to just learn more. So thank you so much for joining us today. You can click once we send out the slide deck, you can earn points for attending, and we'll send you a voucher code within the next few weeks. So if you want, feel free to share a takeaway in the chat, or if you have any questions, this is a great time to ask those questions, and be sure to join our Yammer community if you haven't done so already. So thank you all for joining. Feel free to throw some questions in the chat, and we'll stick around for a few minutes and answer those. Otherwise, we hope you all have a fabulous rest of your day.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed just a little different format of our wellness webinars, just with that kind of interview aspect, almost like a podcast. So
thank you, everybody.